What the hell has happened to Damsel? I apologise for my own somewhat bedraggled appearance. I literally just got out of the shower, then I saw a trailer for the new Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 reintroducing Damsel, a character from the first game, and I was like, yay, Damsel! Damsel's pretty cool. I mean, she's a delusional communist, which, actually, sorry, delusional communist. A bit fat on butter, don't you think? I think communist alone will suffice. But she was still a pretty cool character. As the fledgling described her, a bitch, but in a good way. You know, I kind of like Damsel, but this new version of her, so just reference, this is Damsel from the first Bloodlines. Not the prettiest character in the game, certainly, but again, this is a game from 2004, so you kind of have to keep that in mind as well, don't you? And certainly not bad looking by any stretch of the imagination. This is Damsel now. It's like it's not even the same character, is it? I mean, at least the hair colors, right, I suppose, but the facial structure, the nose, the cheekbones, the mouth. She looks like she's aged like 30-odd years. I guess Damsel has been dropping quite severely in humanity since last time we saw her or something. And apparently also, judging by the YouTube comments, the text on her shirt is also misspelled, but I wouldn't know, I don't speak squiggles, but I wouldn't put it past Paradox either, but why? Is there a story reason for this, or... Again, it's not like these are technical limitations, it's been a while since Bloodlines 1, surely they could have made her prettier, not... that? So, here's the thing. This, I've noticed this is a little bit of a thing these days. Apparently, we want to make characters ugly now. Just female characters, mind you, not the male ones. Those we can make attractive, but female characters need to be ugly for reasons that I am not entirely sure of. Let me bring up an example from the much lambasted Andromeda. Yes, that pile of shit. I mean, there was many sins in that game, but just let me start out here. So, this right here is Stephen Brewis. Handsome gentleman, no doubt. And this is charactered in-game. That's pretty damn good, honestly. That's not bad at all. That looks like the same guy. Same kind of firm, handsome jawline, the same general kind of hairstyle, the stubble. Definitely, that's a pretty good likeness. And then we have Jade Rossi. Yes, this is a character from Andromeda. Who? I wouldn't be able to tell either, but... Yeah, they took that and they made that. I don't know how, I don't know why, or actually I do have a suspicion as to why, but that is not the same character. And when you look at what they can do with a male character, it seems quite apparent now that no, they can make attractive characters, but for some reason they choose not to do so. And a slightly more recent example from Jedi Fallen Order, good old Cow Eyes. Now this is Cow Eyes as she looked in the prequel graphic novel. Not bad, eh? That looks definitely feminine. She looks even vaguely attractive and pretty, honestly. Hell, I mean, compared to the actual character, she looks drop-dead gorgeous. And then, of course, we've got in-game Cow Eyes. Those eyes, I'm amazed there's not clipping problems around them. They're that far out of the character's skull. And, of course, there's been a trend recently to base in-game characters on real people. I don't know why. I mean, honestly, if you're gonna make it a fantasy character, surely you would just make a fantasy character. Why do we base these on... No, actually, that's around for another time. Never mind. And just for argument's sake, also, let's have a look at the actor that she was based on. Deborah Wilson or something? Here we are. Not my cup of tea, a little bit too much in the way of tattoos, but she certainly isn't ugly. Nowhere near as ugly as Cow Eyes, and you may also notice that her eyes are not actually bulging out of her skull. You may also notice that she has breasts, whereas old Cow Eyes is about as flat as a chopping board. Why this trend is happening now, I have no idea, but it's not technological. It's not that they can't do it. And look at Damsel here. Look at this Damsel in comparison to the original Damsel. Again, from a game from 2004. She looks like she has endeavored to climb the ugly tree, only to leap face first off it, endeavoring to strike every single goddamn branch on the way down, and then face planting straight in to the ground, just to dot the I, you know? So, here's the thing. I think this is yet another aspect of just the fantastic leftification of our video games, which is such a good thing. I don't know, because it didn't happen before. This is a new phenomenon, a very new phenomenon, in fact, where we seem to make female characters deliberately ugly for reasons. Again, as we saw with the male character in Andromeda, they can make attractive characters. And hell, they can even make characters that look pretty much precisely like the models that they are based on, but apparently they choose not to do so. And again, how the hell they got this Damsel from the original, I don't think I will ever know, frankly. So that leaves us with the question, why? Well, it seems to be deliberate. And that leaves the question again, why would you do that? That seems to be very counterintuitive, doesn't it? Well, of course, the thing here is, I think this has to do with the feminist image of what beauty is. They don't want to, I suppose, compete with pretty characters for some reason. I mean, it sounds outlandish, but give me a better explanation. This is some kind of digital body shaming of some sort. It's an absurdity. And hell, fundamentally as well, I made this argument before, but if you are making a game for people to play, to consume, and to enjoy, then naturally you would want characters that are very distinctive. In the case of, for example, Vampire the Masquerade, you can have very bestial-looking characters. The first Bloodlines, for example, had a Zinch, we'll just call them Zinches for now, because I can at least pronounce that, who created an entire mansion from blood, bones, and stretched flesh, and he looked like a fucking monster as well. He was... This quest, by the way, this quest started out with you tracking down snuff films. Shit. The original Bloodlines was some dark shit. Holy hell. Anywho, but they also had beautiful characters, pretty characters. And hell, one of the first characters you meet, of course, actually I'm not going to spoil this one in case you haven't played it, but one of the first female characters you meet in a club turns out to be a little bit special, shall we just say. And again, pretty characters. And you do this for reasons, because this is a visual medium as much as anything else. Of course, you have story building, you have character progression, etc., but the visual part of it is also very, very important. If you want a character to be perceived as a monster, then you can build up the story surrounding him, like in Bloodlines 1, where he is literally building furniture out of people. That's pretty damn monstrous. And then you can also just dot the I's on that by making him look like a monster. In the same way, you can make the character feel better about certain people by making them pretty. You can make them feel worse about them by making them look like a fat cat billionaire, you know, the Fisk kind of person with the cigar, etc. These are all little visual tricks that are used to predispose you towards characters, either in a positive or negative light, in order to build up the story, because they don't have the time to unload the entire character's backstory on you. If they could, that'd be ideal, but if you have a bad guy and you just want the player to go like, bad guy, I'm not supposed to feel any remorse for ruining this guy's plans and for beating the shit out of him, well, making him into some kind of stereotypical villain character will go a long way to do that. Simultaneously, making a character look pretty will also predispose you to them in a positive manner. Look back towards Alex, for example, in Half-Life. Now, Alex is not a drop-dead stunner by any stretch of the imagination, but she is visually appealing. She is the pretty girl next door, and so people see her and they immediately go like, I think I like this character. To the point where Valve has now even created a spin-off title based on her, showing how effective this is. There is nothing to be gained, however. I doubt Damsel is one of the main villains in this game. That would be downright odd, especially considering Paradox's political leanings. And again, seeing both in Jedi Fallen Order, where one of your primary characters, your backup, your supposed master, which he just becomes because reasons, and of course in BioWare's Andromeda, where wasn't the ugly one your sister or something crazy like that? It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense if you don't... Again, it does make sense if you look at it from a political perspective, however. From the feminist perspective, pretty men are okay. Pretty women, not so much apparently. The more I see of Vampire Bloodlines 2, the more worried I get. Anywho, what do you guys think? Am I overreacting to this? I mean, it is just one thing, but the single things are starting to pile up into quite the mountain, isn't it? That is the saying, making mountains out of molehills, but if you actually have enough molehills to create a mountain, then, well, you still end up with a mountain to climb, don't you? Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.